Hey, welcome. I hope you all are doing fantastic. Thank you for joining me. Today's reading is uh, What Are They Thinking About You? And this is for Platonic connections, specifically for Platonic connections. All right. So we have three groups for you to choose from. We have group one, the black obsidian, group two, the clear quartz, and group three, the pink tourmaline. So if you need to take a moment to choose your group, feel free. But I will see you guys in your readings. Hey, welcome. If you have chosen the first group, the Black Obsidian, then this reading is for you. The person or maybe people, maybe group of people on your mind, maybe people in general, who knows. But what are people or they thinking about you, all right? So I will start off with the tarot cards as usual, and then I will pull some more cards later on in the reading, okay? So the first card we have is the Magician upright. We have the Page of Cups upright. And we have the Four of Wands upright. Okay, so what are they thinking about? So it feels like this person, they do think you're quite reserved and quiet, but they do think you have this beautiful and friendly spirit to you as well. If any of you are parents, this is random, but if you are parents, they do think you've raised a great kid. They could think you are a bit standoffish. In some situations, they could feel you're a bit repressed in some ways. But they just kind of get this feeling that there's something special about you. You know, they could think you are quite mysterious as well. They could think you're pretty straightforward, to the point, which is something that they do appreciate. They do think about talking to you more, but don't really see you being open to it. They do think you're quite protective, or you're just in a protective kind of energy at the moment. For some of you, this could be that they feel you're protective over other people, and they could even feel that you're quite protective over them. Um, Even if you aren't that close to them yet or anymore, they could also feel like you're quite protective over young people in general. You know, your children, if you have any, you know, people close to you. But again, like they could feel like you have this protectiveness over, you know, the youth in general. Um, but it feels like this person, they do want to see more of you though. But they do feel that you are kind of cautious, not only of them, but of most people. They do believe that you're quite successful as well. That's how they see you, as very successful. They do think you're very empathetic, but don't really show it. Like they don't feel like you wear your empathy on your sleeve. Like it's not something that people would maybe notice about you straight away. Maybe it wasn't something that they noticed about you straight away, but they do feel like you do have a lot of empathy. But they kind of just feel that most people wouldn't be able to tell that you do. They do think you've been through a lot and it's made you wise. They do believe you're multifaceted. They see you as quite mature as well. They do feel that you are this patient person. They do feel that you can be quite stoic. And at the same time, like they feel like there's this seriousness to you, but at the same time, you're very charming, or like there's something very disarming about you at the same time. But they do believe you're quite critical of yourself. They could feel like you're quite critical of other people too. They could just think you expect certain people or people to behave a certain way. Um, for some of you, they could feel that you are quite critical because they feel that you want yourself to do well, but the people that you're critical towards, they feel like you want these people to do well also. But yeah, they do think you hold a lot of influence without really trying though. They do think you're logical and at the same time highly intuitive and capable of reading people, reading situations. And they think that if it came to it, they would be able to trust your judgment, trust your advice if they were to come to you and confide in you. But yeah, they do think you're both sensitive and emotional and intuitive. They do see you as quite youthful as well. And they do feel you have a lot of people um, that admire you. For some of you, this could be an assumption, especially if maybe, I don't know if you guys are all that close, but this could be an assumption. So they kind of like, I can just imagine a lot of people in your life admiring you, you know, the people that are close to you. But yeah, they do think you're creative. They think that you have artistic hobbies, especially if they don't know you all that well, they could just assume that you have artistic hobbies. Again, like if they don't know for sure, they could think that you are married or that you have a desire to get married. They could think you have a lovely sense of style as well. It's just like there's something like, say for example, you're tall, maybe you know you dress very like you dress in a way that kind of suits something about you, you know, like suits your skin tone, suits your height, suits your weight, you know, stuff like that. They could feel like you dress very nice. Um, in alignment with, you know, I don't know, with I don't know how do you word that, but yeah, in alignment with like who you are. And you know, if any of you have kids as well, they do feel like you've given them such a good foundation. They could be thinking about inviting you out socially or to a celebration. For some of you here, like they could think you're manipulative, and it could be because they do feel you have a duality to you. Like I wouldn't, it doesn't seem like manipulative in a bad way. I just honestly can't think of a better word. Um, so yeah, they feel like you do have this duality to you, like you're one way and then you're another way, which seems to contradict itself, you know? So yeah, they aren't really sure. It's just like they think that you aren't one note, you're not one dimensional, which they kind of think is, you know, maybe manipulative at times in their perspective, especially if they tend to be quite a one note kind of person or one dimensional, or maybe that's just what they're used to. Um, but yeah, there's you know, you're multifaceted, and that's something that they do think about you, but maybe they haven't, you know, realized that it can extend to maybe your personality or how you kind of approach situations or different people and stuff like that. But this person, like, they really do want to get to know you more. Like, they do find you interesting and they're so curious about you as well. They also believe that you're quite studious and they do think you've accomplished a lot so far in your life. So now I'm going to pull some more cards for this group. Okay, so we have don't talk to anyone, don't look at anyone, and on the back it says you need some time alone. For this card, it says be grateful. On the back it says things could be so much worse. So what are they thinking about you? So this person, they actually think you are extremely grateful for maybe where you're at in life, for the people you have in your life, for everything that you have, you know. So they could just think you are an extremely grateful person. For some of you, that could actually be why they think you're quite critical of others, or you can be quite critical, because you feel that maybe some people don't really count their blessings. And that is something that they feel they've realized about you. And with this, don't talk to anyone, don't look at anyone. They could think that sometimes you just need your time alone, or that's just how, you know, they perceive it, that you kind of want to be, not necessarily, I don't know, for some of you it could be separated. I don't know who you're asking about or what the environment is like, but they could feel like you want some maybe space. They could think that maybe you just don't like to be crowded or bombarded a little bit, you know, that you need some space to think, or, you know, just kind of breathe. So yeah, they do think sometimes you can be a little bit reserved, and they could think that's the reason. So we also have trust your gut feeling. We also have spiritual or religious community. We have go with the flow. We have email. Be mindful of the messages you send. And we also have progress, not perfection. So they could think, okay, how do I put this? So for some of you, they could think that you want to be perceived in a certain way. And it's not that they necessarily think you care about how other people perceive you. But like, for example, if you go outside, they could think that you maybe like to be seen as serious. Maybe you like to be seen as professional. You like to be seen as, you know, strong and capable and determined. They kind of just feel like you want people to see you a certain way, you know? Or you just like to show up in the world a certain way. Not that it necessarily has anything to do with how other people perceive you, because they don't think that you care at all about how other people perceive you, but they do feel you want to show up in this world in a certain way, in a certain light, you know? Like you're mindful of the messages you send, in terms of how you interact with people, maybe how you dress, maybe how you speak, you know? But they also feel like they need to be mindful of what they say to you and how they show up, around you as well. So they can think that you're quite, not spiritual. They don't think you're spiritual. They actually think you're religious. And they could think that you want to connect with people who are more, um, who are maybe religious too, or people who maybe share, you know, the same beliefs as you, the same morals as you, even if you guys aren't religious or whatever, but they could just perceive you that way, especially if they don't know you all that well. But they do feel that even if this isn't in a religious context, they do feel like you guys could be like-minded in certain ways. And that could be another reason why they do want to be closer to you. So with trust your gut feeling, I think this message came up earlier, but they do feel that you are quite intuitive. And they do think you trust yourself as well. And again, like if it came to it, if they needed your advice or needed to trust in you in some way, they would. Like they feel like they easily would. Maybe that situation hasn't come up yet, maybe it hasn't come up for a while, again depending on how long you've known this person, how in-depth your connection is with them, but they do feel that if it came to it, then they could definitely trust you. So even though you do come across as quite, maybe not laid back, quite reserved, maybe quite serious in some cases, or just stoic. It may not be serious, it could be stoic, could be the better word. But even though you, to them, you could come across that way, they also feel that you are very laid back. They feel like there is this very chill energy to you as well. And they kind of feel like they need to go with the flow when it comes to you as well, and not put too much pressure on the connection that you guys have. And it feels like you've helped this person see that they should aim for progress instead of perfection. Is this in regards to you? This may not be in terms of you. It could be if the person you're asking about has children. It could be in regards to their children. It could be in regards to other things that they're working on, maybe, career, or maybe even just with their self. Like, it feels like you've helped them see that, perfection shouldn't be the goal, progress and growth should be the goal. And it feels like you've really helped them see that they shouldn't be comparing themselves to other people as well. Do you have more from this one? So we have here proud, we have outspoken, obsessive, and discreet. So with discreet, like they feel that if it came to it, they would be able to trust you to be discreet. They could feel that you do have some obsessive traits, but they also feel that there are people who can be quite obsessed with you. Like, again, like they could think that you are very charming and that you do capture people's attention, and they could feel like people really do, or certain people really do pay attention to you and can be quite obsessed with you. Do you have more from this one? And that's kind of like the same with proud. Like they feel like there are people who are extremely proud of you that kind of go as far as to put you on a pedestal in ways as well. And they do think that you can be very outspoken when you want to be, even if they haven't seen that side to you, because they do view you as very strong. So they feel like if it came to it, then you would be outspoken. So we have, at this point, you're just playing yourself. We have, I loved you too much. We also have, this can never be just platonic. I deserve better. We have protection. We have I've been through some stuff. We have I'm focused on my priorities. We have there are so many things left unsaid. We have trauma, and we have wild thoughts. Okay, so what are they thinking about you? All right, so with at this point you're playing yourself. Please only take this one if it makes sense. But for some of you, um, they could think that you've recently invested in something, whether this is a financial investment, emotional, but they could think that you are playing yourself by investing in this thing. Okay. So with I loved you too much, like this does still feel like a quite a present emotion, even if you, even though you are could be asking about a platonic connection. It feels like this person, they do think of you a lot, like they do care about you very much as well, and they do think that they love you. You know, with obsessive, it could be this person that is quite obsessed with you actually, and they could have wild thoughts about you. I know we're meant to be talking about platonic connections, but this person, again, depending on who they are, really, but they could have these romantic thoughts about you. For others of you, though, it's just that this person could love you in a platonic way, of course, but also their wild thoughts could be more fun. Like I can imagine doing some wild stuff with you or having fun with you. So for not for everyone, it's going to be like a romantic thing, especially because this was meant to be specifically for um, platonic relationships. But anyways, so in terms of childhood trauma, this actually feels like it's referring to them. Like it feels like this person thinks you've helped them either confront trauma that they may have had from their childhood. This could even be confronting certain perspectives that they used to hold. Um, it could be certain judgments that they used to, hold as well. But for a lot of you, it could be, trauma or something that happened to them and you've helped them confront it, or you've helped them, realize it and kind of connect the dots in certain ways. But this person, they think that they haven't said everything to you that they want to say. So they do feel like on their part that there are some things that have been left unsaid. But they also feel like they will get the opportunity for you guys to have these discussions or for them to, say certain things to you. So they do think you are focused on your priorities. They do think that they're kind of doing the same. So they do think, this isn't for everyone, but for some of you here, they do think you have been through your fair share of tough situations as well. They could actually think this is something that's going on right now as opposed to something that's more, related to your past. With protection, the message is kind of similar to the message that, well, not similar, the same message that came up earlier. Like, they do feel that you are very protective of people. And this person, they do feel that you deserve better. If you're in a relationship, they could think you deserve better than the person you're currently with. This does feel mainly in terms of relationships. I don't know if it is referring to your romantic relationships. But this could be, for some of you, it could be a theme in your life. Or there's certain situations or certain things you're dealing with right now, and this person just feels like you deserve better, Like, they feel like you are this great person, and you do deserve the best in this person's opinion. And again, depending on who this person is to you, this person believes that they could never have just a platonic connection with you. So this person could be definitely thinking about you in more than a platonic way. It feels like they definitely want more. And it feels like they won't settle for a platonic connection with you. It's like if they can't have more with you, like, I don't know if this is something romantic, if it's a deeper connection, because right now they don't feel like you're really, for them like that. So they feel like if it like, say for example, you're just cordial with this person, it feels like they don't want to settle for that. It's like they want all or nothing type of thing. But yeah, do you have more from this one? But that is all I have. I do hope it could be helpful. I do hope it can make sense, and I'm wishing you guys the best. All right, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye. Welcome. If you've chosen the second group, the clear quartz, then this reading is for you. The person or people on your mind, what are they thinking about you? All right, so we have the Knight of Swords upright, we have Five of Cups in reverse, Five of Wands upright. So this isn't for everyone, but for some of you here, they could think you're quite combative. But that's just like not a throwaway message or anything like that. But that's only for some of you. It doesn't feel like they hold that opinion for a lot of you here. But they do think you're smart. They do feel that you are very talkative as well. They could think that you're always scheming, like you're always plotting and planning. But don't worry, this isn't in a negative way. Like, they could just feel like you always have something cooking up. They also feel that you can talk about pretty much anything and everything. So they could feel like you just have a lot of knowledge, maybe a lot of knowledge about, maybe a lot of different things. So they do feel that you can pretty much hold conversations about anything. So yeah, they do feel that's quite cool because they do think you have a lot of interest. But it doesn't come across as irritating though, it doesn't come across as overwhelming, especially when you are talking about things that interest you. They just feel that you aren't imposing, with people that you don't know. So they could also think that you're mainly talkative with people you feel comfortable with, and they do feel you're comfortable around them, even if you guys aren't that close yet, which they like. They don't like that you're not that close yet, but they do like that you are able to talk to them, even though you guys may not be that close yet or have known each other for a long time. But that's not for everyone, of course, especially if you have known this person for a minute. But they can still hold that opinion, that you're not talkative with a lot of people, or that's just something that they've noticed. So in some situations, they do think you are a quick thinker, or they think you talk fast, or there are times where you can be impulsive. And for others of you, or maybe on like the other side of the coin, they do feel that sometimes you don't articulate yourself the way you want to. Especially in certain situations, they could think that you do need a minute to organize your thoughts and organize, what it is that you want to say and what you want to reply. So even though they feel there are, times where you do really well, kind of being thrown off guard, other times they feel like that it is maybe more of a struggle for you. So they also think you're quite competitive. They think you like intellectual challenges. For some of you, they think that you like learning new things or enjoy things like Sudoku or crosswords or reading, maybe like brain exercises. They do think that there are times you get bored quite quickly, but they still feel that you're quite patient in those situations in their eyes. They could think you are not very interested in love, or you're just not crazy about it. um this may not be only referring to romantic love, though. This could be, they could think that you're not interested in platonic love either. For some of you, they could think that you believe relationships interfere with a person's independence, or they just feel that you don't like talking about it. Like maybe you keep your love life private. Maybe you don't really like to dive too deep into other people's love life. um if you are single, though, they can assume this stuff even if it's not true. For some of you, they could think that you don't have the patience for relationships, but they aren't sure. And honestly, they may not give it too much thought, but it is something that has crossed their mind. Or with the Five of Cups being here, they could think that you're not ready to be in a relationship again, after being hurt in love. But this person, they do perceive you as quite sexy. They believe you are, this again, like could be in a platonic way. They could just think you're quite attractive, or you do have that sex appeal about you. They believe you aren't very blunt or honest at times. For some of you, they could just think you tell different people different things. That could be a reason why they think you're not honest. But they do think you are action oriented. But they also feel that you're at a point in your life where you're quite settled. So maybe that ambitiousness that you used to have is not really there anymore, but you're still ambitious in different ways. So they do think you're quite sensitive to other people's feelings. They could feel that you are burnt out in certain areas of your life. or just burnt out in general, you know. But yeah, this person, they feel that you have been very accepting of them. They believe you hate when they believe that this isn't for everyone, but they could believe that you hate when things stay the same, like things that get in the way of progress or growth. But at the same time, like they do feel there is a part of you that clings on to the past or certain, you know, parts of your past. So they also believe you hate conflict, but also hate opposition. And because of that, they feel that you don't really take in or value other people's opinions, even though you may hear them out. But you're not going to challenge people on what they say, maybe not all the time. And you kind of just let people have their opinions, but you don't take it in, like you don't really give it too much thought. Um, but they feel you do that because you don't want conflict, you don't really care for conflict. And yeah, so sometimes they do think you take on too much of other people's problems. Even if you don't want to. They believe people do gossip about you quite a bit, and that some people can be jealous of you. This could be in an environment that you guys are both familiar with, so maybe an environment you both go to. This could be in a friend group, family group as well, social group, work group. But yeah, they do feel that people can be jealous of you. So for some of you, for some reason, they could think that you are sexually frustrated. I don't know why they would think that, but they also think you do tend to be quite a passionate person, though. Excuse me. So I'm gonna pull some more cards. And see what other messages we can get. Okay, so what are they thinking? So we have step away from the crazy diet. Yeah, step away from the crazy diet. And we also have put the phone down. So what are they thinking about you? So for some of you here, they could think you're on a diet. That may not be for everyone. It could be that they think you're cutting certain things out of your life, whether that be food, drinks, I don't know, people, situations, but they do feel like you are stepping away from certain things. And this isn't necessarily things that aren't good for you. This could be things that just, in their opinion, they feel like it doesn't interest you and you're stepping away from things that don't interest you. If there are situations where you're around this person and maybe you're on your phone or you're busy, that could be something that they have thought. For some of you, they could think you're pretending to be on your phone to seem unavailable. But it feels like they do want you to pay more attention to them. So we have bless your heart. We have be gentle with yourself. So it says here you've been through a lot and you need time to heal and recover. On this one it says reach out for emotional and spiritual support to help heal and mend your heart. We have honor how far you've come. We have school. We have life purpose. And we also have color, express your true feelings. Alright, so with life's purpose, they could think that you're still trying to discover what your purpose is in life. They could think that you think about stuff like what is the meaning of life. They could think that you think quite deeply about certain things. So with school, like they do think you're smart. They do feel that you are constantly learning or you're constantly picking up new things, picking up, interesting pieces of information. And with life purpose, they could think that you are searching for a deeper meaning in your life. For some of you, they could think that you've helped them connect to their life purpose. Or maybe you help them realize what their purpose is. Or they think that you've helped them or other people realize that they do need a deeper purpose or deeper meaning to their life. So they could think you do need to be gentle with yourself. They don't think you're vulnerable. Wait, do they? They could think you're vulnerable in ways. They don't necessarily view you as fragile or like, you know, weak or anything like that. But they do think you've, you know, been through a lot, especially with that Five of Cups being there. Maybe, you know, you have recovered some of what you've been through. Maybe you've, you know, healed certain things. But they do feel like you are still on a journey and that you are still, you know, needing to be gentle with yourself in order for you to heal and, you know, fully recover. And with Bless Your Heart, like, they could feel you do have quite a gentle heart and quite a gentle spirit as well. They could also feel that you've come a long way. And they may think that you tend not to reach out to people for emotional support with express your feelings. And with this card here, they don't necessarily think that you need to. They kind of just think that it's not your way to reach out to people for emotional support or to like be super expressive when it comes to your feelings and your emotions on certain things. So we also have pretentious, we have doubtful, we have introverted, and we have neutral. For some of you here, they could think you're pretentious, but only take that if it makes sense. Especially if you do tend to be quite low-key. And for some of you, because you are so smart, or because you do have a lot of knowledge, like earlier in the reading, I didn't think they perceived it that way, but maybe if you're asking like generally, if you're asking about more than one person, it feels like maybe some people, they can see your gifts or they can see your intellect as, you know, pretentious, whereas other people, they don't. So they do think that you are more on the doubtful side, that you are more on the, I don't know if cautious is the right word, but you do question things. Like, that's what it feels like. You're more on the questioning side. Like, you don't just, you know, believe something, you know, and yeah, that you are more doubtful. So with introverted, it feels like the person or people that you're asking about, they think that you don't like being perceived as introverted. Like, that's the message. Like, for some of you, they can perceive you as introverted, but that's not really the message. It feels like they just feel that you don't like being perceived that way. So they do think that you tend to appear quite neutral. Um, like, they could think you don't necessarily see things as black and white, like yes and no, and stuff like that. Just like there's more nuance. Like, they could think like that's how you see the world. All right, so we have here, are you ashamed of me? We have, our connection is doing more harm than good. We have, will you wait for me? I've been through some stuff. I deserve better. Let's fly away. We have liquid courage. We have blah, blah, blah. We have deep throat. We have, I like your eyes. I like your smile. We also have, at this point, you're just playing yourself. And we also have, there are so many things left unsaid. So with, at this point, you're just playing yourself. For some of you, they could think that you do play mind games at times. They could feel like they've seen you've seen you do this. For some of you, they could think you're ashamed of them. They could feel that you have beautiful smile, beautiful eyes. So whoever this person is, it does feel like they want you to wait for them. Do they think you will? And for some of you, they could think that you will. This could be waiting for them to become stable in some way. So for some of you, if I've been through some stuff, they could think that you've put them through difficult situations, maybe difficult emotions. So I don't know what your relationship has been like with this person so far, but they do feel that the connection you both have deserves better than maybe what's been given so far. For some of you, this person could want to help you escape something. That's not for everyone here, though. Do you have more from this one? So they could think that they do need more courage when it comes to you. For some of you, I don't know if it involves liquid courage, but they do feel they need more courage. It could be to approach you, it could be to say something to you, it could be something you are more aware of. For some of you, it could be forming a better relationship with you. For some of you, they feel like with blah, 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 they feel that you don't really listen to what they're saying. Sometimes they feel like you don't really listen to their opinion. They could feel that you don't let them speak sometimes. With deep throat, like they do feel some of the things that you say is quite deep. So they may think that your connection isn't in a good way right now. For some of you, they could feel it's doing more harm than good. Maybe on their side, is it on their side? Could be on your side. I don't know. But they may not think that there's anything you guys can do about it, right now. Like they could feel, in time. So if there are conversations that still need to be had between you guys, it may not even be that deep, like, but they do think, certain things can go unsaid right now, and that you guys will get to it when you get to it. Like, it's not a rush for you guys to have a certain conversation. But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best. All right, please take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, this reading could be for you, the person or people on your mind, platonic connections. What are they thinking about you? Okay, so I will start off with your tarot cards, and then I'll pull some more cards towards the end of the reading. Okay, so we have Seven of Swords upright, we have the Strength card upright, and we also have the Eight of Pentacles upright. Alright, so please only take these messages if it makes sense, okay? Don't take these messages if they don't resonate with you, alright? Alright, so it feels like this person, they could think that it's hard for them to trust you. They could also feel like it's hard for other people to trust you. They could feel that you are kind of quiet. But they feel like this is in a secretive kind of way. They could also feel that you are someone that has a lot of fears, that you can be quite anxious and nervous at times. Like, they don't think this is all the time. They could feel like this is in certain environments or around certain people that you're anxious. For some of you, though, they could just think you're naturally quite anxious, regardless of the situation or who you're around. So this person or people, They could think that you do let people walk over you at times, and they do think there are people who manipulate you, or you can potentially find yourself in situations where people will end up manipulating you, and they believe that you don't really assert yourself, assert your authority in certain situations. They'd love to see you have a bit more courage, but at the same time, they could actually think you like or prefer being, um, maybe a people pleaser, or even if that's not what's actually going on. It's just like they could feel that you prefer, like, this is just an example, like the energy could be similar, but they could feel that you prefer being told what to do as opposed to like taking charge, if that makes sense. They could feel like you prefer to be on the opposite side. um but they do think that for some reason you don't use your god-given powers, instead they do feel that you are afraid of upsetting people. They think that there are times that you are too nice for your own good, but they also see that you're strong in ways too. Like, this could be in terms of your work ethic, it could be in terms of your stability, it could be in terms of finances, actually. Um, they could think you're good with money, so they do feel that you have your strengths. For some of you, they could think that you are physically strong, or your appearance is strong, like maybe people that don't know you, you tend to look strong to other people. It feels like this person could feel bad for the times they've manipulated you, or saw you being manipulated and didn't do anything about it. So this person, they do feel there are times where you have been quite sneaky and haven't been honest with them. For some of you, they could think you are a cheater. Maybe they could think you're open to affairs and such. Um, they could even think that you've had an affair with someone they know. And again, depending on who you're asking about, they could think you did, or you tried to have an affair with their partner or someone that they're interested in. They do feel that people are rarely honest with you, um, because they feel that you can't handle the truth, in their opinion. They do think you are insecure at times. They could think that you have betrayed their trust, or they feel that something you've done to other people. This person, they do find you attractive though, like they do see your attractive qualities, and they do feel like there are some people you are able to be more domineering over. They do think you're hardworking, and they could feel that you are quite dedicated to your job. So they could think you are compassionate, but this does feel like it is mainly referring to them, not really other people, mainly because they don't really care about how compassionate you are with other people. They could think you are in a position of power, but either you don't like it, or they feel that you aren't suited to that position. Like this person, could feel that you aren't a good person, because in their eyes they do see you as selfish. Like they do see you as a taker as well. It's like when it's kind of weird, because they feel like people there are people who, you know, do take and take from you, or there are people that you allow to kind of take and take from you. But at the same time, like, they see you as a taker as well, if that makes sense. For some reason, they kind of just see you as a bit selfish at times. This person could think, they don't necessarily think you're bored in your life, but they do think you want more action, maybe in your love life. For some of you, they could even think you like to be mistreated in love, like you pick the people who aren't good for you, who may not treat you well, or relationships that won't really lead anywhere. And for some of you, they could think that you try to intimidate them in a group setting. They could think that you try to be domineering over them in a group setting, but they do think it backfired, and they feel that it only made you look petty or silly in that situation. And again, like, just because this person could think these things about you, if it resonates, it doesn't mean it's true. But I will pull some more cards and see what other messages we get, okay? So what are they thinking about you? thinking about you. Okay, so we have, for the first two cards, we have you are talented and amazing. We also have it's time to let go. So they think that you do want to be respected more. They do think that you want to be maybe more successful, maybe more talented in ways. Like they could think you want to be gifted, or more gifted than you already are. For example, if you aren't particularly artistic, they could think that you want to be more talented in that way, or they could feel like you just want to have an extra gift, or to be gifted, or to be seen as gifted in some way. For some of you, they could think you see yourself as gifted. But they could feel that other people don't perceive you in the way that you may perceive yourself. So this person, they could also feel that you need to let go of them. This does feel like it is referring specifically to them, not someone else. They kind of just feel you need to move on. If there has been a situation maybe where you keep bringing something up, they could think you need to move on from that particular thing. So we have here facial fears. We have heightened intuition. We also have divine life purpose. We have job. And we have internet. So this person, they could feel like you are very successful in terms of your career, in terms of your job. They could feel like you have a good job, or you just have, or you're just very good at what you do. It doesn't really feel like it's about whether you like your job or not, but they just feel like you are a good, like employee. Like they do feel like you are quite determined in terms of your work. So if in terms of heightened intuition, it feels like this person, their intuition has been telling them something about you, and they think that they need to, start to listen. They could feel as though they've been giving you the benefit of the doubt, or not really listening to their intuition when it comes to you. They could feel that their intuition has been telling them that they can't, trust you, or For some of you, it may be that they shouldn't listen to you, but they do feel like they are like starting to trust their intuition more when it comes to you. So with face your fears, like they do think you try to put your fears onto other people at times. So this person, they actually do feel you found your purpose in life with divine purpose. Um, like they could already think you're living your purpose. So this person, they also feel that you want to be more connected to the people around you, to the world around you. They could feel that you find it hard to create genuine connections, though. So we have questioning, we have childlike, we have cautious, and we also have solemn. So they could think you are quite solemn, or they could think that you've been quite solemn recently. They could think you're cautious, and I think that message came up earlier of them kind of thinking that you are anxious, nervous in some situations. Sorry, my camera cut out. So with questioning, it doesn't really feel like it has anything to do with that, but the message that is coming through is that they feel that you think people don't see through you or can't see through you or don't see your real intentions in certain situations, you know? Like this person could perceive you as sneaky, but they don't think that you think people see you that way, you know? They could think that you are childlike in some ways. They could think that you want to be seen as childlike. And innocent. So we have blah, blah, blah. We have I'm so used to flying solo. We have speechless. We have affection. We have meh. We have dishonesty, humiliation. You are beautiful. I want to start a family with you, and family issues. So this person could feel like you're dealing with current family issues, or they could feel like maybe you kind of grew up in an environment where there were a lot of family issues. They could feel like you're going through family issues now, but maybe this is kind of like removed from you, like other people, like your family are going through issues, but you're not really involved. So with blah, 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 it feels like this person feels that they shouldn't listen to you, um, that they should basically kind of be discerning with what you say. So this person, they could think you need to fly solo for a little while. Um, for some of you, it may not be that. They could feel that you're actually used to being alone or not having genuine connections. with speechless, they think that you don't really know what to say to them. So in terms of affection, it feels like they think that you don't deserve their affection. They could think that you want them to feel sorry for you and they think that you don't deserve that. Like with Met, it feels like right now they are kind of disinterested in you, in a connection with you. Maybe, and maybe being around you more or growing closer to you or making your relationship what it used to be. Like they do think you've been dishonest with them. Like if something happened, like they could feel like you like made a fool of yourself in some way, to put it plainly. But again, like they do think you want a genuine connection. They could feel that you want a family. But that's all that's coming through with these here cards. I do hope it could be helpful. And again, like if it doesn't resonate, then just reject this reading. Or maybe, um, if this is someone who has always, committed to misunderstanding you, I don't know what the situation is, but I do hope it can be helpful though. And I'm wishing you guys the best. All right, take care. Bye.